Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today I can finally show you all the awesome new units for the Grom and the Paunch DLC. Not the Grom and the Paunch. What am I talking about? The Warden and the Paunch. I'm looking at Grom the Paunch. I get excited. Look at him. He's amazing. So I can show you all the new units. So I'm just going to do a rundown of all the stats for these guys. So you can see here, Grom the Paunch. I'm waiting for him to do my favourite animation, but he's not doing it. There's one where, God, I can't remember his ready name. Is he about to do it? Is he about to do it? Oh, no, he's not. He's going to feed him in a minute. It's hilarious. He gives him a turkey leg. It's wonderful. It's so good. Anyway, Grom the Paunch here. You can see he's on a chariot, of course, with 3 wolves, which I think is important to mention. Normal chariots are only 2 wolves, but, well, he needs a 3rd. He's a big lad. So, absolutely wonderful anti-infantry. A new legendary lord, of course, so he's leading the army. Plenty of armor, especially for a goblin wolf chariot. Oh, here he is! There he goes! There we go. There we go. I love it. Absolutely love it. Anyway, huge charge bonus. In campaign, he can get a charge bonus upwards of like 200. It is ludicrously high. But, you know, stats generally quite low. But you want to keep it moving, just like any chariot. It's kind of novel to have a chariot lord, because obviously that's not something that we've had, a legendary lord on a chariot. So this is really cool to have. You've got to keep him moving, though, even with all of his, you know, armor and all of his little toys he's got. Like the Axe of Grom, that'll help sunder armor, which obviously helps out his goblin allies a lot that don't have a lot of armor piercing. So really like that. Big fan of that. Also, it buffs his damage a huge amount, so he can do a lot more damage, plus 50% to base weapon damage and armor piercing. Also, he's got the Lucky Banner, which you can plus 40 melee attack and plus 40% damage resistance, which is ludicrously high. Lasts for 30 seconds, and then you have to wait a further 120 seconds. So 2 minutes for it to recharge. So it's not something you can spam a lot. So it makes sense that it's very powerful, but pretty wonderful. Also here he's got De Greater Nazir, which is actually one of the abilities, and I think it's this one. Nope, just this one. So this one is basically what replaces in campaign. It's where War used to be, because War is just an effect that you have all the time now. You don't have to bring it as an ability. Every lord has it. Every greenskin army has it. So they had to put something else in there, basically, in the skill tree. So this is what he gets at the end of his red line, which is very, very cool. And you can bring it in battles, obviously, in multiplayer. So plus 24 melee attack, plus 16 leadership, and plus 30% base weapon damage for allies nearby, 40-meter range, which is very, very nice to have. Also, finally, Language of Du Bois, which is actually, that replaces what would be in the usual rally slot. It's the one halfway through the red skill line. So it actually gives just a constant buff. Oh, no, it's not a constant buff. Sorry. I'm still getting used to these. Or is it? Hang on. Oh, it's if he's in melee. Silly me. So if he's in melee, this activates, and it's plus 5 melee defense and 4 leadership and immune psychology for nearby units, which is really nice. He does regenerate because, well, all that troll meat he ate. Same reason he's so big. Look at him go. Love this boy. Also causing courage and has missile resistance of 15%. So love him. Absolutely love him. Also the new hero with the DLC is the troll hag here, who's just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And there's a couple of different models for the troll hags as well. There's not just the one model. One of them's wearing a red bikini, but this one, skull bikini. Classic. You always got to make sure to mention the bikinis. Because, yeah, in the Forge World model, she didn't have a bikini. She just, yeah, au naturel. It was wonderful. Sublime. Beautiful, beautiful woman. Checking out her octopus-filled sack. Okay, I made myself sick in my mouth. She's horrible. I love her. Death magic, which is very, very cool to have. She has replenishment bonuses in the campaign, which is obviously very useful for anyone who wants that. And she has overwhelming odor here, which is minus 6 melee attack for nearby things. No surprise there. She's got a big sack full of crabs, so, you know. Also, she's a troll, so she too will regenerate. And nice little quality of life improvement. They have finally added the value of hit points that are replenished with regeneration and other healing abilities. It actually tells you now. Finally. So good to have that. Also, she can bring Assault of Stone, which is very, very cool. So you can have this as an item, which, if you guys know the spell, really cool. Just drops a bunch of rocks on people. Very nice to have that in multiplayer. Mither, she has here, which will lower speed and charge speed, which is very handy to get over the fact that, you know, goblins aren't great at dealing with cavalry, so that gives us some nice tools. And also Blast for more damage, so very offensive spellcaster. Also Swamp Breath, she can also just vomit, you know, cross-country, kind of like the Troll King can, so very, very nice. So she's very deadly, a lot of very high damaging abilities there. Not the best melee stats, but she regenerates, and she does have the armor piercing, and everything she does causes tremendous harm. So, very, very violent. Lovely, lovely woman. Let's see. Let's do all the campaign units, shall we? All of these are the campaign-specific units. So these won't be available in multiplayer, but they're new units nonetheless, and I wanted to cover them. So we have the Lava Arachnarok Spider. So all of these, bar this one, the Spider Hatchlings, all the ones with the red underneath, you get as rewards for completing a war. Okay, that's how you get these, by doing a war. And it depends where you are on the map. Depends what you get given. So here, Lava Arachnarok Spider. So obviously fire damage as well as poison. Makes sense if you drink lava. You know, it is poisonous. It's very fatal. Don't drink lava. Well, you can, but only once. So, you know, brilliant. So poison and fire damage is very cool to see. You know, generally good missile strength. All the usual stuff you get from an Arachnarok Spider, basically. But they have Arachno Eruption, which means that every couple of seconds, well, for a couple of seconds, every 3 times for 90-second cooldown anyway, you can blow stuff up near you. It ignores armor because it's lava and bombards the enemy around, so it can erupt and just spit lava everywhere, which is hilarious. Also, Thermal Thorax, which will damage nearby units as well, just because it's so hot. So very, very scary, very just deadly thing. You can have it charge in, attack the big boy, you know, the big centerpiece of the enemy army, whatever it may be, and damage all of the supporting infantry at the same time. Very scary. Love it. Also, Feral Hydra. That's right. Greenskins have Hydras now. I love it. I love it. They're a Hydra. What do you want from it? It's a Hydra. It's just a Hydra, is what it is. So, there we go. Also, Super Skwiggs. You guys might remember these from, is it one of Belagar's quest battles? I can't entirely remember whose it was, but they're exploding Skwiggs. Much like the bloated corpses, they can just run in and detonate, which is hilarious. So, Skwiggs go boom is their ability. Quest ability, see? So, they're hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Love them. So that's fun. Also, Lava Spider Rider Archers, which is very cool. So the little lava spiders. So very nice to have them accompany as well. So similar vibe. You know, they've got the fire damage, but that's basically it. They don't erupt or anything. So pretty simple unit. Also, Armored Squig Hoppers. Again, quite self-explanatory. They're Squig Hoppers, like Squig Hoppers are, but they're armored. It's really quite routine, this one. They are immune to psychology, which is nice. And they got the armor. Very cool units. I really like them. Just another nice addition to the roster. You know, nice reward for, you know, just getting fighty. And then, Spider Hatchlings. So these you can actually get from a special building in Arachnos. In Mount Arachnos, which is really, really cool. So it's just a nice little touch. Spider Hatchlings existed in the game. Now you can actually recruit them from a building, which is really fun. So, yeah, just nice. Just keep filling things up. Keep giving things more flavour. Any of this, I encourage. So now, more of the DLC units. So we've got Grom the Paunch, of course. Here, more trolls, because of course we do have the Troll Hag hero, but there's also some units of trolls that have been added as well. So the River Trolls. Absolutely terrifying. Got aquatic vibes, you know, look like big fish monsters. Love them. Very, very cool. Covered in spiky barnacles and things. Generally disgusting. Absolutely love them. So their big thing is that they actually lower with the overwhelming odor, they will actually lower melee attack of nearby units. They do regenerate just like normal trolls. Quite weak, you know, armor. They're quite flimsy, but they do have the armor piercing as well. But they're good for debuffing nearby units, which is very nice. So if you're fighting something like dwarfs, I can imagine these guys can do quite well. Quarrelers and rangers and things will be able to pick them apart very quickly. As well as, you know, handgunners, but of course they don't have much armor. So, you know, cheap units can shoot them down pretty quickly. But being able to lower melee attack for an army that has a very low melee attack anyway, I can see them being very useful. So, cool that. Cool. I like it. And here, Stone Trolls. So these guys look a lot like the other trolls that were basically modelled after Stone Trolls, but they made them a unique thing. They haven't just sort of retconned the others, so it gives you more variety here. So instead of just the usual bone clubs, they've actually got what I assume to them is kind of like an ice cream cone. It's a rock on a stick. They eat rocks, so I can only assume that they've been caught having just visited their local kebab shop and got themselves a shish kebab, a rock shish kebab. So they're very cool. Much more armor than usual trolls that have, I think, 40, the standard ones. You have 70. They also have a lot of missile resistance and magic resistance. They're a lot more sturdy and they hit harder, as well as having the usual regeneration. So they're just tankier, better trolls. Like, they're really much the same as the regular trolls. They're just better. And slightly taller. They are bigger, but they're very much the same. They're a very direct upgrade. So now, let's look at the four different What are they called? What are they called? Snotlings. That's it. Snotling pump wagons. I forgot the word for snotling. Anyway, here we go. We have Logie Bogie Sports Bloaters, which is Snotling Pump Wagon Regiment of Renown, and they're hilarious. They're covered in these explosive mushrooms, and they will detonate when they hit people, and that will recharge as they grow back. It's adorable. I love it. They're hilarious, and they're Snotlings. We have Snotlings in the game now. Just that alone is brilliant. They also have Pump Harder Lads, which is something they all have, that all of them. All the Snotling pump wagons have, which is when they're charging, they get these extra, speed and charge bonuses and things. So very, very cool. Gives them a bit of a run-up that they can do. But there is a cooldown to it, so it's not like, why don't they just have higher charge bonus? No, they can't. They have to have a rest between pumping harder. It makes sense. And also, they're expendable, so if they die, no one's going to care. So I love it. That's so them, They're disposable. And that's perfect. So, yeah, middling armor and leadership and speed and things. But they're a chariot, essentially. You want to keep them moving. They don't have a huge amount of mass, so they're a little bit iffy. Oh, by the way, I've got ultra unit sizes on right now. So this isn't actually necessarily entirely a good idea for people looking at this for quick battles. But you get the stats. Just imagine there's one less. Easy. Easy, mate. So, here we go. Snotty pump wagons. Just as standard, they have armor piercing and anti-infantry, which is very, very cool. So they can punch above their weight. So for killing things like dwarves, these might be a really nice low-tier unit, which is very cool. I get into all the unit costs after this, but I want to get right and show you. So leadership at 50, so very low leadership, 50 armor is middling. Speed of 60, they're pretty nippy, but cavalry will outrun them and crush them. So you want them mixed in with your front line, doing some work and harassing things. That's how I found they're quite useful. So I love them. These guys, Snotling Pump Wagons, these actually have Strider, and Strider has changed now. If we have a look at Strider, this unit ignores speed and combat penalties caused by terrain and can move through trees. He can move through trees now. So in forests, these guys can escape, which is amazing. I love that. I think that's really nice. Really nice change to Strider. It just makes things a lot quicker, a lot less likely to get caught up on things. So these guys with their wings, I love them. With their flappers, really cool. So very similar, but they have Strider. They're, again, kind of a direct upgrade from the previous unit. And these ones, finally, Snotty Pump Wagon Spiky Rollers, these I think are probably my favourite. They're the most elite, they're the most expensive, besides the Regiment Renown, because, well, they're a lot more heavy metal than the others. They're fantastic. These ones actually sunder armour. So having a unit like this, it's such a great damaging unit with the armour piercing and the anti-infantry, but that armour sundering will help out the rest of the army. So you've got a bunch of goblins. You hit War, they have a huge attack buff, but they're still not doing much damage when they hit. Well, Sunder Armor in nearby things, and they're going to do more damage. It's very cool. This will enable you to use sort of a goblin army. So all this stuff really supplements Grom's whole goblin vibe, which I love. Also, the Swamp Things, Regiment of Renown. River Trolls. They're very, very cool. I like these guys. So they have the overwhelming odor, of course, but they cause terror. They're scary. They're a lot scarier. So slightly better stat line, but they're terror-causing swamp trolls. So I like it a lot. They're pretty nice. They're a nice supplemental unit. If you don't have any other sort of big terror-causing units, which I like, that's nice. But I can't see them being used often, especially when you got things like this turning up. That's right, the Rogue Idol. Rogue Idol is wild. I love this guy so much. Hits like an absolute truck. Huge amount of armor. He is slow. Very slow. But it doesn't matter. He can take all day to wade in. With that much armor, you're never going to kill him before he gets into a fight. And over here, Rubble and Ruin 1, 2, and 3. Every 25% of his health that he loses, a bunch of him falls off and crushes everything nearby, friend or foe. It'll actually put up his armor-piercing weapon damage because, I don't know, I guess as you're chopping away at him, you're actually sharpening, all the rocks that he's flinging about. But it lowers his armor, so he's actually easier to kill the more damage he's taken, but the more damage he's taken, the more rocks are going to fall off him and crush your enemies. So just get him to wade into anything expensive. The more damage he takes, the quicker you can kill. And he's going to soak up so many missiles, and he's just an absolute terror. Looks amazing. His animations are really cool too. Can't wait for you to see those. And then we've got Dubigan, Rogue Idol. Oh, so both of them, by the way, have the Spirit of Gork or Mork, which gives a map-wide leadership bonus if they're still healthy. They're above 25% health, which is very cool. And Rampage is the final thing with Rubble and Ruin. They will rampage once they're down to 25% health as well. So, they all have that. But the Regiment Renowned one, that looks just gorgeous with his the Bad Moon belly button. Love it. The belly moon. And he's also got this rock bottom, which you may have noticed he has missile attacks. The other guy doesn't have missile attacks. This guy has missile attacks. He's going to throw rocks and possibly even his own body parts. He has rock bottom, which actually replenishes health at the cost of his own health. Sorry, replenishes ammunition at the cost of his own health. He's going to be pulling parts of him off to throw at people, which is adorable. I love it. So good. Also, I didn't mention, because he was up here, there's a feral wyvern too. Yeah, feral wyverns as a reward for War. So, I think that's it for this faction. So, now, I have to hit start battle so I can go over the other. Really? Hidden trees? Well, now I'm disappointed. Alright, never mind. I'll be back in a sec. And now, here we are with the rest. So, as you can see, I've put everyone on the same team. Yeah, there's Grom's army as reinforcements for Eltharions, which is, I know, a little odd, but who cares, it's all good. So, Eltharion here on Stormwing. So, he does start on foot. You can also put him on a horse. And, yeah, eventually, Stormwing. I love Stormwing. Stormwing's awesome. He's pretty damn quick, 90 speed on a Griffin. He has access to high magic. You all know high magic. He also has the Fang Sword of Eltharion, which will give him that plus 25% armor-piercing weapon damage and plus 44% physical damage, as well as imbuing him with magic damage, which is very, very cool. That's pretty great. I love that, especially on Stormwing. He has mad armor-piercing here on a Griffin of 300. So, you know, that's going to be great. An extra 100... Oh, no. Maybe, an extra 60... No, 75 damage? Something like that. So, damage. Also, the Helm of Ivres, which is a novel one. It's the same ability as, what are they called? It's those skinks. Basically makes them invincible, but also only when this is active. So, it'll make make your own guys unbreakable, and they can't die. So, they'll still take damage, okay, for those 17 seconds, but they won't be able to actually lose any models. So, they could be on 0 health and not die. They can still keep fighting while that time is going. So, kind of nice. I kind of like this for sort of, you have like a big monster that's about to die. Just hit it with that and it can keep fighting, which, you know, for another 17 seconds might get those extra couple of hits in, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I like that. That's good fun. So yeah, he's pretty straightforward, causes terror, does all the stuff you'd usually expect from a Griffin rider, but he just has high magic. He's not that exciting, I think, in terms of the meta. He's just another tool that you can bring along, and just a cool character generally. So, you know, he's cool. He's cool. Also here, so there's a few units that are campaign exclusive again. So this is one of them, the Knights of Torque. These are campaign exclusive, and they are very, very cool. They are going to be part of Ivres's defenses, and yeah, Griffin Riders. There's 4 of them in a unit on Ultra settings. I'm still on Ultra unit sizes, and they're just very, very cool. I just really love them. They add so much flavour, rather than having a bunch of like additional dragon stuff. No, they keep it Griffin focused, because he's the Griffin Lord. You know, he's not the dragon guy, he's not Emmerich. So I love that. So Knights of Torque, awesome. Also down here, another campaign exclusive thing is actually, yeah, you might recognise Alistar here. He now has a White Lion Chariot mount. Yeah, pretty damn cool. Pretty damn cool. Also, there's a new item I've never seen before, which I got it in playing in campaign as the High Elves, but I've never seen it, you know, other than that. It's that plus 12% flame resistance, which is very nice. I'm not sure if anyone can actually have it outside of him, so unless you're playing in custom battle, then, yeah, maybe you won't get that. But very cool anyway, and it's nice that Alistar's getting the treatment he deserves here, so really cool to see. And if you're thinking, oh, but I want White Lions, there are White Lion Chariots. You can bring White Lion Chariots, just not with Alistar riding them in quick battle. So we've got White Lion Chariots. These ones are better at just staying in combat. That's kind of their job, but they're still Chariots, and you guys are going to get as much work done with Chariots as normal. You still want to cycle charge them and, you know, get them in and out of combat. Don't want to bog down. But by design, these are the ones that are supposed to sit there and just kill stuff, right? That's their thing. And of course, you know, White Lions on the back with their axes, looking very cool, and the lions themselves are just wild. They look amazing. They just look so good. They've done these fantastically. And, yeah, armor piercing, bones versus infantry, you know, pretty good speed, high leadership, high armor, you know, very sturdy. Martial prowess, of course, you know, just very nice units. Nice to have another chariot at your disposal if you want to just tweak things slightly. Also, over here, Spire Guard of Tour de Vresse are, again, campaign exclusive, and they're unbreakable Lothern Sea Guard, basically. That's kind of that thing. There's Lothern Sea Guard, but, you know, unbreakable. Bit more armored, too. But yeah, pretty cool to see. I like them. I think they're really cool. And by the way, it's all the ones with the Mistwalker are the campaign ones. Those are all Ivres's special units, the Mistwalker set, the Mistwalker pack. So, you know, very cool. Also here, Arcane Phoenix. This is brand new. So, love this one. Just beautiful rainbow boy. Looks amazing. Looks very, very cool indeed. And he has a new ability, Ember Storm. So, this is very much the elite Phoenix, this one. This Ember Storm, it's not like the Bombard abilities that they used to have. No, it's just a big vortex directly underneath him. Does a ton of damage. Very, very deadly, and looks amazing. It looks really cool. So, very cool. So, that's kind of his thing. So, mad fire resistance, physical resist, attuned to magic as well. So, a lot of the same tricks that the Phoenixes usually have, but he's just a lot sturdier. You know, he's a fairly direct upgrade, but you may find that the Ember Storm is better than the usual bombardments for certain jobs. So, you know, it's a nice addition. Also, there's the Regiment of Renown, the Omen of Eltharion, which, again, sort of like, yeah, sort of reverse of the colours. But it just looks amazing. Just, again, the character in all these, it's just beautiful. So, this one has Omen of Hope, which will actually make nearby units be immune to psychology, which is crazy powerful. That is such a good thing to have. You know, if there's a bunch of terror about. But it would be better for other factions, I think. Because immune psychology, brilliant, but high elves just have such high leadership, generally, that it's very rare you're going to get terrified unless the unit is pretty much dead already, has, you know, outgrown its welcome. But it's still cool to have. The Omen of Eltharion, of course, you know, better stat line anyway. Really nice high melee attack for a big beastie like that. And 50 melee defense. He's very tanky. I really like him. I think he's pretty cool. And, yeah, causes terror, of course. Got attuned to magic. And fiery rebirth, you know, as Phoenixes do. And it even says how much. Even says how much. Look at that. It says how much health. Isn't that great? Love it. Still chance of him instantly dying, but, you know, it's fine. Also here, you also get White Lion packs here. So, I love these. War Lions of Trace. Very, very cool. Don't have to have a chariot. No, they can just tear people to ribbons. So they're quite flimsy with only 35 armor. And, you know, they're a weird one. They're kind of like a low-level sort of infantry unit. They're just that thing that you have to be like, well, I need some armor piercing. These are the sort of the low-level armor piercing unit that you bring along, which I really like. I really like it as a thing. They're quite mobile with their 82 speed. So not quite like infantry, but like they're flimsy. They're quite low tier is what I'm getting at. And but you know, they have armor piercing and anti-infantry, so they're very nice for killing like chaos warriors and stuff on a budget. Because White Lions of Trace, well, they're not as quick as the War Lions, so sometimes hard to get them on the right enemies, and they tend to do quite poorly against things that aren't sort of, you know, that need the dedicated armor piercing. Whereas these guys can just avoid those conflicts. Also, we have Rahagra's Pride, Rahagra being like the first White Lion, I believe. Here we go, the legendary father of the White Lions, an ally to Kurnos, god of the hunt, lives on through his fearsome pride. And they look amazing, you know, very different sort of skins here, which I love. They've got the more sort of tiger thing. They're like ligers. These are white ligers, okay? Which I love. They look amazing. I think they look really cool. And with the red armor as well. I love the armor as well. It just makes a lot of sense just to have these like plates attached to these little coats. They look adorable. They look adorable and ferocious. So these guys have Mighty Roar, which is a ability you can activate, which lowers leadership and speed of nearby units, which I think is really cool. That's really handy, especially against sort of low level you know, enemies. You can just help round things up nice and quickly. And sort of Beastmen, you know, where you want to be nice and quick. Yeah, really nice to have something that can hit their leadership. So very, very cool. Also here, so Silvering Guard. These are a brand new unit that, for everyone, for all the elves, they're just a high-tier armoured version of the Spearmen. Well, not high-tier. They're mid-tier Spearmen, basically. They're Spearmen with armour, is what they are. They're Spearmen with armour. And apart from that, you know, they got some magic resistance, but that could be because there's a Phoenix or something nearby, frankly. I don't think they have magic resistance normally. They're just armoured Spearmen. There's not much to it. There's not much to it. They're a nice addition, but not particularly exciting, I'm afraid, but cool to have. Very cool to have. Also here, these guys are brand new. Rangers. Rangers, I love. I think they're really cool. I really like these guys. They are, They're super unique. In campaign, I find it still better just to use spearmen, honestly, but having a low-tier infantry unit that has, you know, bonus versus infantry, I just think is really cool. Just an anti-infantry unit at low tier. Because as you can see, again, sod all armor on these guys, you know, middling stats. They're not the best stats in the world, but they got the anti-infantry, and they're nice and cheap. They're nice and cheap, these guys. So it's really cool. They just fill a void in the roster, I think. So if you're fighting sort of, you know, things like Beastmen that you know are going to have a lot of cheap chaff, these might be the guys you want to bring to supplement the army, knowing that, you know, Ungor herds are going to get through your spearmen eventually. These guys will kill faster than they're killed for, you know, the lower tier units like that, for unarmored infantry. So not bad for helping get rid of the chaff. So I really like that. It's a nice addition. Also, these guys, the Skyhawks, again, Mistwalker, so, you know, campaign exclusive, but very, very cool nonetheless. These are short-range archer swordsman hybrids. They're pretty cool. So anti-infantry on missiles and their weapon strength, and they can vanguard. They're just a cool skirmishing unit, sort of part of the professional army. But I really love the idea of having short-range arrows. Like, I don't think it's because their bows are any smaller or anything. I think it's literally down to their discipline. They're ambushing units. They get in close and aim for vital parts of the body, which is where they get the missile damage from. That's how I see the sort of, you know, the idea behind their design. That seems to be the case. So I really love that. Skyhawks, really interesting. What else is there? I really should have just made this my army, huh? I really should have. What was I thinking? Also, Sentinels of Astaril. Yeah, we went through them, did we? Shieldbreaker. These guys, basically Lothern Seaguard with Shieldbreaker and more armor. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Again, Mistwalkers. Is there anything we haven't been through? The Faith Bearers, Athel Tamara Faith Bearers. These guys, they're fun too. Again, Mistwalker, they're swordsmen. They're just decent swordsmen with frenzy. They're pretty cool, pretty cool. So, oh, and finally, Talons of Torque. These are a regiment of renown. They've been added for the archers with light armor. So, very cool. These aren't campaign exclusive. They're just a regiment of renown. They look pretty damn cool, and they have fire damage. They're archers with fire. I like them. I like them. They're going to have interesting niches, I think. Having extra fire damage is always fun. Right, I think that's basically it, apart from the thing I'm going to have to back out of the game to show off completely. You might notice the dragon here. This is a fire mage. This is a hero fire mage with a dragon. Yep, that's right. We have sort of dragon mages now, kinda, sort of. You can actually get an archmage of fire at the lord tier, or a mage of fire in the hero tier. Both of them can have dragons. So I think that's really cool. That's a really nice touch. And they have added all of the other spellcasters, which we are going to take a look at. So, yeah, I'll meet you there. And here we are for the final hurdle. So, yes, this is kind of crazy. So, also, one thing I want to show off is princes as well have a new mount option. They can be on griffins as well. So, if you do want to follow that sort of griffin vibe for Eltharion when you're playing his campaign, you can give all of your lords griffins, which is very, very cool. I really like that. I think that's a really nice touch. And, yeah, any other campaign, you can still just put them on a griffin if you don't want to put them on dragons. So, I like it. I like it a lot. Also, yeah, Archmage of Shadows, Beasts, Metal, High, Death, Life, Light, Fire, and Heavens. So that's all 8 plus High Magic. Unbelievable. They've added all of them. And all of them can be mounted on Elven Steeds, Ilthamar Chariots, Great Eagles, and Moon Dragons. Which is very cool. I'm pretty sure it's all Moon Dragons for them, for the Lord choices. But for the heroes, as you can see, Chariot is where it caps out, except for, where is he? Except for the Mage of Fire, which gets the exception. Kind of like Amber Wizards have, for the Empire, have Griffin mounts, whereas the rest don't. They have Pegasus mounts. So I love that, though. I think that's really nice thematic change. They could be on a Sun Dragon. You know, the Archmages could be on Moon Dragons. Although I think, again... Nope, just a Moon Dragon, actually, for the Archmage of Fire, which I think might be a bit of an oversight. It would be nice to see Sun Dragon there as well for thematic reasons, but still, you've got access to all 9 laws of magic that they should have on both tiers, which is just amazing. I just find it unbelievable they've done that. I love it so much. So, let's have a look at their items as well, actually. So, yeah, they've got Arm of the Stars, so they can hide or hide something, which is fun. Actually, just hide themselves. Use on self, yeah. And Book of Howarth, so pretty cool. But, again, I don't think that's the best thing in the world. But they do have Arcane Conduit, and at a lower tier, I mean, it's kind of similar. I mean, if any, I'd prefer these. So, I'd like to see these get tweaked a little bit. You know, which abilities they get, but still, it's pretty damn cool to see that they've filled out the roster like that. I really like it. And just Griffins for Princes, I think is wonderful. So, yeah, I think that's about it, really. I think that's everything that I've gone over. Oh, one more thing, actually. Go Broken Axe. In fact, if I just go to Greenskins, boop, part of the rework, you can see they've all got the new portraits. So they're all looking, you know, sort of up to date, which I really like. So they all look great. Love it. Oh, also, Grimgore's stats apparently have changed substantially. I haven't had a good look at him yet, so I might as well now. Even though I'm sure a lot of you have seen this already. Might as well. It's, you know, Greenskins are new and fun. So, best of the best. Ability range 30 meters. Oh, it's a constant ability for lords or heroes. Interesting. Oh, if there's an enemy lord or hero nearby, that makes sense. He gets more fighty if there's enemies nearby, so he gets damage resistance and melee defense if enemies are nearby. I like that. I like that. Also, get back here. And you're next. So you can use that on lords or heroes. Lowers their melee attack, speed, and melee defense, which is pretty brutal. To be able to just go, yep, I'm coming for you. And the enemy doesn't know what to do, seeing him barrel towards them. I love that. And for his items, Gitsnick, of course, and Blood-Forged Armor. So the Blood-Forged Armor causes an explosion when he runs into combat, which is very fun. I've seen that in campaign. It's very cool. And ups his armor as well. But it causes an explosion nearby, which is wild. And Gitsnick, big armor-piercing weapon damage buff, as well as the melee attack. So very cool. I like him a lot. So yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think I've shown you everything. I'm pretty sure I've shown you all the new toys, but I do love the new toys. There's some great stuff here. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more early access content. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys. Oh my god, guys, I forgot about Emmerich. I'm allowed to show him too. It's Emmerich of the Knights of Calidor. Emmerich. The one and only Emmerich. It's Emmerich. Emmerich the Dragon Boy. It's Emmerich on Menathanir. That's right, his dragon's called Menathanir or something like that. He's pretty cool too. So, fire damage, of course, because he's a big scary boy and a dragon. He's big on fire, by the way. You'll see he gets a lot of fire things, like fire resistance and fire damage and a lot of fire things in campaign. It's very fun like that. Also, he has the Star Lance. Honestly, interesting to see a legendary lord with a lance. I swear they just don't get lances. You know, all of their like super weapons are things like hammers and swords, but no, Star Lance, love it. So imbues fire damage, does 25. I mean, he's already got fire damage, which is the quite daft thing. But if he's not on the dragon, then he doesn't. So you know, it's fine. But anyway, it also imbues flammables, who will attack people, and they will become flammable with a 22% weakness to fire damage, so he will do more damage to the thing he's attacking, which is very cool. Also, anything else doing fire damage would also do more damage to that unit, which is great. Also, the plus 25% armor-piercing weapon damage, plus 20% charge speed, and 50% charge bonus. Very, very nice to see. So, pretty damn cool. Also here, Dragon Horn. Basically gives him wah. I love it. It's plus 24 melee attack, map wide, and causes fear. So the enemies hear the horn. Yeah, they're gonna get scared of that. It's a very scary thing, you know. They know the dragons are coming, and everyone in his army suddenly takes the fight to them in a big way, hearing that horn as a rallying cry. So I love that. Plus 24 melee attack, map wide is pretty substantial, but you can only do it every 2 minutes, only do it 3 times max. So you know, you can't spam it so much, but that's still hugely beneficial. Even just for the 16 seconds, you time that right, that can swing a battle. It's amazing. I love it. Also, he has Lord of Dragons, which is a hex you can cast on the enemy, minus 24 melee defense and minus 40 melee attack. That is really substantial, and it lasts for 30 seconds. I mean, that's better than Enfeebling Foe right there. Really good ability. Really good ability. And yeah, with the buffs map wide as well, and you just nuke anything you like with that. And of course, he's got the, you know, the Star Dragon Breath and all the rest of it. Encouragement causes terror. You know, all that lark. So there you go. There's our boy Imrik. And I love his banner as well. The flames. Very cool. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's all of them. That's all the things. So now, proper goodbye. Toodaloo.